Welcome back, sexy anomalies. Glad to see you again. Today we're going to speak about how to unlock the God income. Are you ready?
Yes.
Perfect. So, today's masterclass is going to be quite long. So if you have the attention span of a goldfish, fuck off. But if you are actually serious about increasing your income, follow along, take some notes, leave them in the comments, send them to me on Instagram, and let's get started. First and foremost, we're going to speak about number one, the three planes of existence. Why is it so important to understand the three planes of existence? Because without those introductions that I'm going to do, you're not going to deeply understand why you're going to be able to unlock your God income and how you're going to be able to interact with God, okay? So, first and foremost, you exist on three planes, okay? Have you ever wondered why the religious and the Catholics, for instance, say, in the name of the Son, the Father first. It's important in the order. The Father, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Why do you think that is? Oops, no. There we go. So, what do you think that is, right? Ça c'est au nom du Père, du Fils et du Saint-Esprit. Why do you think the religious or the Catholics speak about this, right? Why do they mention the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? Some of you who have had religious upbringing, maybe you're thinking, okay, this is God, this is, Jesus, the Son of God, and this is the Holy Spirit, basically kind of like the mix of the two. So basically, metaphysically and esoterically, what this symbolizes, the Father symbolizes the mind, metaphysically. The Son symbolizes the body, and the Holy Spirit, what is it? It symbolizes the soul. Okay? So in this phrase, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, this is a phrase that explains if you want to align yourself, right? Because this is a type of prayer, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, Amen. This is a prayer to connect with God, but it literally tells you esoterically and metaphysically how to connect with God. In the name of the Father, so the mind, the mental plane, in the name of the Son, the body, so the physical plane, physical dimension, and in the name of the Holy Spirit, which is, you've guessed it, the spiritual dimension, the spiritual plane, right? If you're new to this channel, the main goal of this channel is for you to excel in every single aspect, understanding basically a condensed version of the best findings of neuroscience, psychobiology, quantum physics, metaphysics, spirituality, the esoteric knowledge of the universe, God potential, the study of NDEs, and overall how you can apply that to every single aspect of your life, whether health, wealth, relationship, specifically business if you're starting out, to be able to excel in every single aspect, attract miracles, and miracles really and truly are it's just a synonym for higher level of understanding. People will call it miracle because they do not understand how the fabric of reality works or the mechanisms of the universe works. Once you do that, because you're following along these videos on YouTube, then people will call you lucky, people will call you a miracle worker, but it's really and truly because you've understood the underlying mechanism and how everything functions basically. So, three planes of existence. You exist on three planes. That's why whenever the Catholics or the religious want to connect with God, they say in the name of the Father, the mind, so the mental plane, in the name of the mental plane, in the name of the physical plane, and in the name of the spiritual plane. So it's extremely important for you to understand that you exist on physical, you're existing in the 3-dimensional realm, you exist on the 5-dimensional realm, and you exist on the 6/4-dimensional realm because it's emotions and spiritual, okay? So once you understand that you're a multi-dimensional individual, right? And again, The goal of this channel is really for you to become a multidimensional individual, not just, being rich and being abused by your wife or your kids, not respected by your peers, or being, unhealthy and fat. This is not the goal. The goal is for you to be a multi-dimensional winning individual. This is something that I will repeat for you because I'm sick and tired of seeing all these millionaires online, or either millionaires online that are depressed or millionaires in real life that I know that come to see me. They're still under antidepressant, they're still fat, they're still overweight. So this is not the goal here, okay? Now that this is out of the way, that you know that you exist on 3 planes, mental, spiritual, and physical. In the name of the Father, by the way, the Father, why is it the mind? Because the mind controls the body. If you reprogram the mind, you're going to naturally reprogram the body, and you're going to naturally change the behaviors of the body. That's why we say in the name of the Father, because the Father is the one that has created or creates the Son, creates the behavior of the Son. So the behaviors of your body. The mind is the Father, okay, the mental plane, which is the causal realm in this 3rd dimensional realm. The Son is the body because it's the body that does what the mental body tells him to do, right? That's why the subconscious mind, for instance, subconscious mind represents 95% of your mind, okay? Also represents 95% of how you think, feel, say, or do on a daily basis, okay? This is why we say in the name of the Father, because the subconscious mind, which is the mind basically, because it represents 95% of the mind, is the father of literally determines and procreates how you think, how you feel, how you say, what you say, and what you do. And the body then is following what the subconscious mind is programmed to do. So this is, the subconscious is the Father, your subconscious mind is the Father, so your mind is the Father, the body is the Son, and the Holy Spirit is the way you connect with God, the particle of God within you, which is the soul. The soul is just a tiny particle of God that you have inside of you, okay? So now that this introduction is out of the way, does it make sense? C'est clair? T'as compris? Okay. Now that this makes sense. Yeah, by the way, in one of the last videos, somebody complained that I speak French to the guests behind the camera. Fuck you. I speak French if I want. I speak Norwegian if I want. I speak, what can I speak? Spanish if I want. And I lost my Russian and I lost my Italian. But either way, fuck you. If you don't like it, you can just click off the video. So that's number one. Number two, which is extremely important to understand, is, and we're going to do a little test here. We're going to do a little test here. You're going to tell me what you think this is. And then plus... My drawings are getting better, don't you think? Et quand même, je m'améliore en dessin, non?
Ouais, là, on dirait raquette de ping-pong.
Okay, so what do you think this is? If I do like this.
Un miroir?
There we go, perfect. So this is a mirror.
Thank you very much.
And what is this? If I do, no, if I do like this.
Une loupe?
Yeah, there you go. So this is an magnifying glass. Magnifying. Stop disturbing the class, please. Put your phone on airplane mode. I think magnifying. Yeah, please. How do you write magnifying? I think it's like this. Magnifying, yeah, magnifying. There you go. Glass. Perfect. So, this is a mirror, this is a magnifying glass. And what does that tell you? Well, this is your reminder how the universe mainly works. Universe. This is how the universe mainly works. Okay? What does that tell you? It works as a mirror and it works as a magnifying glass and as an amplifier. It reflects back to you your vibration and it amplifies back to you, reflects and amplifies back to you what you send out to the universe. So your vibration, remember, if you're new to this channel and you haven't watched the previous videos where I explained the 7 steps of materialization, it all starts with a thought that you get from the quantum field, that you get from the ether, that you pick and choose and you focus on. Then you nurture it with an emotion thought plus emotion becomes a vibration. A vibration held in a consistent period of time becomes a frequency. That frequency over time determines your identity and therefore reprograms your subconscious mind and therefore is responsible for what you do as a behavior or attitude and therefore naturally determines the result that you're going to have in life. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is typically why this reflects, and this is typically why karma exists, right? Karma exists. If you are a bad motherfucker, well, obviously the universe is going to find a way to reflect that back to you. This is exactly, like those are the symptoms telling you that the universe works this way. So symptoms, or consequences, if you will, symptoms, karma, or what we call vibrational resonance. Vibrational resonance. The vibrational resonance simply states that when you wake up, for instance, in the day, you wake up from the wrong side of the bed and you stub your toe or you're scrolling on TikTok or whatever you do, I don't know, but then you see something that pisses you off or gets you angry, then you increase the probability in the quantum field that more things like that happen to you. The first emotions of the day are extremely important, guys. The first frequency and the first vibrations of the day are extremely important, which is why I highly recommend stop when you wake up, just look at your phone. No, because you're opening yourself to the programming of the world. You do not want to open yourself of the programming of the world because where is the world lying? Like I'm thinking in different languages because of this motherfucker telling, oh, you shouldn't speak in French, fuck you. So 99 of the masses, 99 of the world, right, of the masses is what? Is mediocre. So you need to understand that what most of the people get fed on social media is mediocre. Until your algorithm and until your social media is not super optimized, you have 99% of chances to be programmed by the masses, programmed by the society. And you do not want that. You want to be intentional with the programming that you have. This is why I highly recommend you never touch your phone in the morning and you use it as a timer for your meditation or anything like that, but you do not use and you do not scroll on social media. I'm not telling you, the first 2 to 3 hours of my day, my phone is on airplane mode and like not next to me. It's like at the other side of the room, okay? So why is it important? Because vibrational resonance, if you wake up and you feel lousy and then you start scrolling and then you see that you get jealous of somebody who has a better lifestyle than you, or you see like a woman that makes you feel inferior or anything like that, well, you're setting up your vibration to have the same vibration of the rest of the day because the universe is a mirror and reflects that back to you with vibrational resonance, which is also why karma exists, because if you're doing some bad things, naturally, except if you're a psychopath, right? That's why a lot of psychopaths and serial killers, for instance, they don't have a lot of karma, they don't get back karma until later in life, because the thing is, karma only exists if you feel bad. It's depending on your frequency. So if you do something that you feel guilty of or feel ashamed of, then karma works. But if you don't feel guilty or you don't feel ashamed, then karma doesn't take into place because it reflects back to you in terms of vibration. So the psychopath or the serial killer that just kills without any guilt complex or not being ashamed of himself, he doesn't activate karma, which is why some of you, I'm sure you're frustrated when you look at all these motherfuckers doing bad stuff and then not getting punished for it. And then you're like, but God, I thought God was just and stuff like that. No, this is because they do not vibrate at a low level, which then the universe mirrors that back to them. Cool. Then the magnifying glass, it amplifies how you feel. So this is typically, for instance, what we call momentum. Momentum is a symptom of the second mechanism of the universe, the magnifying glass, and also vicious / virtuous cycles, right? This is literally the symptoms of the mechanism of amplifying. That's why, for instance, it's easier for you to win if you're already winning. It's easier for you to make money if you're already making money. It's easier. So in the vicious cycle, that's why the poor get poorer, or that's why the rich get richer, right? That's why, for instance, somebody who is already having a reputation, right, social reputation, has more opportunities and more people gathering and being magnetized to them. Somebody who is already on the winning momentum, if you haven't watched my video about how to unlock the winning frequency, highly recommend you watch it. But if you haven't entered the winning momentum, treat it as life or death. It's so important for you to enter the winning momentum, because when you start winning and when you start entering that winning momentum, you're going to win more easily. That's why, for instance, Charlie Munger, the mentor of Warren Buffett, said the hardest thing is the first $100,000. After that, the hardest is the million, and then the second million becomes easier, and then the third million becomes even easier, etc., 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 etc. Which is why the first million, when you become a millionaire, is the hardest, and then it gets easier over time. That's why, for instance, you see a lot of millionaires go broke with their business, and then a few years after that, they've rebounded, right? Because they have accumulated the skills, the knowledge, and the confidence, and the vibration, and the momentum for them to build their million back up again. Make sense? Cool. So, that's also part of the introduction. It's extremely important, guys, that you remind yourself, even though if, let's say, for instance, you've watched my previous videos and you've seen me speak about these subjects, it still is very much important that you retake notes, because the more, every single time you repeat that and you retake notes, it ingrains itself in the subconscious mind, and then it becomes part of your unconscious competence. Remember, there's 4 types of competence. There's first the unconscious in terms of skills, right? Unconscious incompetence. Competence. I'm doing this quickly because it's not really part of the masterclass, but unconscious incompetence. Then you have conscious incompetence. So you're aware that you're a loser. Unconscious incompetence. Then it's conscious competence. And then you have unconscious competence. And this is where people call you a natural, right? You know, for instance, the charismatic guy or the guy who seems lucky or miracle, he's operating here. He's unconsciously competent but he has gone through this. He has gone through most people, right? Some people are naturally talented and gifted and are naturally born into certain types of unconscious competence in their different areas of their lives. But most of us, we need to go from unconscious incompetence, not knowing that we suck, then knowing that we suck, and then we feel down. And then we're like, okay, but you know, I'm gonna take 100% responsibility for my skills, my knowledge, etc. I'm gonna develop conscious competence. And then over time, because we work so much on that, it becomes unconscious competence, okay? For instance, me, at first, I didn't know I sucked at coaching, right? Because I have an online coaching business, for instance. I'm coaching people in mindset, health, wealth, relationship, overall metaphysics that helps them scale their lives, their brand, their business, and overall every aspect of their lives, right? That's why how we were able to help people attract more than 10K in 48 hours, people making 60 grand per month with their online coaching business, people starting from scratch, being in high school, getting to $20,000 per month, or people even like a multimillionaire shareholder that was depressed came to see me and we scaled him to 10 figures in sales, and he was able to align himself and excel in every single aspect, for instance, right? So once you know the overarching theme of the universe and the overarching levers, the Pareto levers that you can use. Remember, Pareto is like, what are the 20% effort that produces 80% asymmetric upside results? Once you know how to leverage those for somebody specifically, well, everything starts to follow through. So I didn't know I first suck in coaching when I started in November 2020. Then I started working on my coaching skills. Or no, I started being aware that I sucked in my coaching skills in end of 2020, beginning of 2021. Then I worked heavily on how to become a better coach, my knowledge, my skills, etc. So I was conscious then to be competent. And now today, I hope, obviously you're never perfect, but I hope I am unconscious competence in terms of the coaching, even though it's an infinite game, you can always get better. So this wasn't part of the masterclass, but it's important to understand that as you note down and more in these YouTube masterclasses or YouTube videos, you are going to progressively over time ingrain that in your subconscious mind and therefore align yourself with the 4th type of competence, unconscious competence, okay? Can I get a coffee, please? Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. All right, so because my board, Max also, one of the latest comments on one of my videos is Max. Max is a client of mine, and then he sent me a message, you know, you should use, what was it? Windex or something like that to clean your board. I got you covered, bro. Don't worry. It's just that sometimes I'm too hyped up and I'm too in the flow, so I forget to clean my board, but I will do it just for you. I will clean it better. And that way you guys can kind of like finish off your notes. Do you have any comments or questions?
Non, pas pour l'instant.
Wow. The suspense that you created with that pause is crazy. Okay, so now where am I? Yeah, there you go. Bro is so excited he forgets where he puts his pens. Cool. Now, was it number 3 or number 4? Are you sure? Yeah. Number 3. All of this is necessary, guys. All of this, listen to the end, listen carefully, follow through, because all of this, once you have everything in terms of all the information aligned, all the knowledge aligned on the top of your mind, everything is going to make sense and you're going to be able to unlock your God income, okay? Your godly income, your God income, basically how you're going to magnetize more money into your life, and you can extrapolate that on to health and relationships, so basically opportunities. Cool. Now, same thing, holographic universe. Remember that everything is linked. If you haven't watched the masterclass on how to unlock the winning frequency, go after this one. Calm down, stay here. But you're gonna watch the other later, holographic universe. So, do you remember what we spoke about in the holographic universe?
What?
In one sentence, dis-moi en une phrase ce dont on a parlé dans cette masterclass de l'holographisme.
Wow.
Wow, okay, so it's taking too long, guys. We don't have all day, so yeah, go ahead.
T'as expliqué pas mal de choses en fait. Il vaut mieux regarder la vidéo.
She's like, she's smart. She's like, no. It's better for you. I don't want to spoil you guys. Just go watch the video. Good marketing, good marketing. Okay, cool. So everything is linked, right? Remember that everything is linked. Everything is linked. We also spoke about how quantum entanglement is a concept. QE, quantum entanglement, is a concept proving that everything is linked at all subatomic level. At the subatomic level, all the particles are linked. Quantum entanglement, that was they found in quantum physics. And the new addition that I wanted to give you today, guys, is obviously, because of everything, you are an integrated part of the universe. Bro. J'espère que je vais pas commencer à avoir une écriture de docteur, tu vois. Ouais.
Là, ça part un peu en cacahuète.
Wow, okay.
Ouais.
You are an integrated part of the universe, okay? So I want you to really imagine that you, as a particle of God, your soul, and because God is everywhere, God is omnipotent, He's everywhere, right? He's not only in yourself, He's outside the universe, He's inside the universe, He's everywhere, because obviously He's all-powerful. So He's everywhere, He's omniscient, He's omnipotent. Which is why, do you really think that you can fool God if you fool yourself? What do I mean by that? Do you really think that God will reward you with blessings in life if you don't even keep your word to yourself? No, because He's also inside of you. He knows your vibration cannot fool God, right? So if you feel low vibration, guilt, shame, anger, fear, or sadness, it's going to reflect that back to you, because the universe works as a yes man. He's okay, yeah, if you don't think you can do it, you can't. If you think you can do it, you can. Which is why the reflection part is so important. Now, I want you to imagine yourself. What is this? There you go, perfect. That's you, okay? You are a drop in... Wow, I know. Picasso. What is this?
Des ailerons de requin.
Bro, sharks.
Lourd.
No, the sea or the ocean. Sea/ocean. By the way, what is bigger, ocean or sea?
Si.
La mer, c'est plus gros qu'un océan?
Ah non, mais c'est...
Okay, go back to school, bro. Okay, so you and the ocean. You are a part of the ocean. But if you change if there is a change, let's say a delta, right? Delta mathematics for change, a delta in the structure of the water droplet, then obviously it's going to, at a minimal level, but still over time, is going to have an impact on the structure and the change of the structure of the sea or ocean. For instance, if this water becomes a water of blood, over time, consistently, it obviously is going to change the hue, change the saturation, change the shade of the sea, the ocean, to a more reddish vibe. So you are a droplet in ocean, okay? Your soul is a particle of God. And I want you to visualize this as, so this is the universe, the all, right? So this is God, basically. You are a particle of God. But you are also a droplet of consciousness. Droplet of consciousness. And this is the universal consciousness, if that makes sense, right? Universal consciousness. If you see yourself, that's why it's so important. If you see yourself as a droplet as a particle of God or droplet of consciousness, right? In the infinite potential, which is God, which is infinite abundance, or the universal consciousness, then you immediately see yourself as linked, right? You are linked, okay? And why am I speaking about water? Do you know the famous Japanese experiment on water? L'expérimentation de l'eau from, yeah, what was his name? Stress. You don't remember? All right. So if you change your structure, you're going to obviously have an impact around you. Why I'm speaking about this right before I get into the experiment of the Japanese guy is basically because if you change your structure, well, you're going to have an impact, right? Let's say, for instance, it goes down, you're going to have a direct impact on the structure around you, which is why by you elevating your vibration, elevating your frequency, right? She's like, she before I get into the name, she's like looking on Google. Yeah, but vas-y, hein, go. Ah, okay. So if you change your vibration, aka your structure, because at the end of the day, you are a mere consciousness, you're a mere energy, you're a mere vibration. So if you change your vibration, you change your structure, right? Let's say your delta is lower, then obviously it's going to impact the delta of your surroundings, which is usually why when you start to elevate, I'll do another video on the law of energetic equilibrium, but when you usually elevate your delta, your vibration, it has a direct impact positively and negatively on the surrounding around you. But either way, if you change your structure, aka your vibration, your frequency, and who you are as an identity, right? Because it's basically a synonym in this case for identity. If you change your identity, then naturally you're going to start to change the reality around you. That's like a beautiful analogy to basically summarize the quantum physics experiment that they did with the observer effect. Basically, the observer effect states that depending on the identity, the focus, and the concentration of somebody who observes a potentiality as a wave, then it becomes a particle. And if he stops observing it, the person stops observing it, then it reverts back to a wave, okay? Which is why scientists, quantum physicists, and then traditional physicists are like puzzled, or they kind of like fight against each other because they're like, yeah, but you know, this is a wave or this is a particle. It's both. That's a beautiful thing. This world is literally a mirror depending on how you think and who you are, okay? This is why this life seems to be without answers sometimes, because one day somebody says, yeah, it's a particle, but because your intention of the potentiality is a particle, it becomes a particle. If your intention is the one of a wave, then it becomes a wave. So it really is just a mirror and an amplifier. That's the beautiful thing. This universe, this life is a beautiful organism reflecting back who you are, which is why it's so important in this YouTube channel. I'm giving you like the kind of like the bird's eye view, the higher awareness, because the more awareness you have, the more control you have over your reality, and the higher consciousness you develop, the more godlike you become. And I'm going to show you exactly why. And there is somebody in history that you all know that developed this God consciousness and that you can emulate. Cool. So why am I speaking about this structure and this analogy with the water? What's the name of the... C'est quoi alors? Il s'appelle comment?
J'ai pas regardé ça, c'est possible.
Regarde, regarde, et tu me dis. What's the name of the Japanese scientist that did an experiment on water? For those of you who are my students, you better know. I'm gonna wait for her to find it out. We were at number 3, number 4. Basically, every atom is conscious. Ooh, what do you mean, Hugo? Well, they've done an experiment. Emoto. Dr. Emoto.
Oui.
Ouais?
Emoto, mais le truc qui s'appelle Méso.
No, but that's the website. That's the name of the website. Ça, c'est le nom du site, non?
Non?
Ah. Either way, Dr. Emoto, I'll pull up a graph of what he did, but basically, Dr. Emoto, what he did, he gathered some water from the same source. He put them in different compartments, and what he did was that he separated them on one. Let me do this. So he had literally several compartments with water inside, right? And he did different types of, he spoke differently to all these water particles, water atoms, or, you know, compartments. So on some of them, he pronounced words of love, and he gave love to the compartment. On another one, he gave some joy, right? On another one, he gave some hate. And on another one, he gave some disgust, right? And so what he found out after 30 days or 90 days, I think, he froze the water. He basically froze it. And then what he did is that he looked at it on a cellular level. And he saw that these became beautiful little snowflakes in the particle, right? Beautiful, very symmetrical, beautiful with the light, all of that, right? That's a snowflake, okay? Pretty good, huh? Pretty good, huh? She's liking my drawings more and more. Same thing for this one, huh? Je vais pas recommencer à recréer. I'm not gonna redraw the thing, but you get it. Like basically it was very symmetrical, what we can call from divine geometry, basically. Divine geometrical patterns. And on this one, what happened was that it was like all over the place. It wasn't good, right? It looked ugly as fuck. And so what it tell you is that basically every single atom and every single particle that is comprised of water is conscious of the different types of emotions and intention that we give them, which is why this experiment is so crucial on how we speak to ourselves, because we are 70 to 80% water, right? We have 70 to 80% water. Our body is comprised of 70 to 80% water. So just imagine if you tell yourself that you hate yourself, or you discuss yourself, or you're operating from a low vibration, low frequency. This is why it's so important and everything is linked. If you hate yourself, if you find yourself disgusting, if you are ashamed of yourself, all of this will have an impact on the particle of your body, on every single atom of your body. And therefore, you will feel worse and worse and worse because you're literally creating a disgusting masterpiece of your body. Whereas if you speak with yourself with love, with joy, then you create something beautiful in your body, okay? Every single atom is conscious. They've also determined, so if water is conscious, what does it mean? It means that on this atomic level, every single atom of water, right? So, or every single molecule of water, because it's HO2, right? H2O, sorry, H2O. That means what? That means that every molecule is obviously impacted by your emotions, your intention, which means what? Then every single molecule is conscious, okay? But again, under the molecule, what is under the molecule? Is the atom, at the atomic level. And they also did an experiment where they saw that literally rocks, obviously on the infinitesimal lower level, rocks are conscious, have some level of consciousness, are conscious. Obviously, it's like in plants as well, by the way, more so are more conscious, let's say, more conscious Then, so this is mineral domain, right? This is the mineral domain. Mineral domain. This is the vegetal. Vegetal, yeah. In English also, I don't know. Vegetal domain, let's say. You guys get it, right? Then you have animals are also conscious. They're more conscious, right? Conscious. And then you have humans that are much more conscious. But the thing is this. Every single realm, mineral, vegetal, animal, humanistic, or human, is conscious. Because why? Why are all realms conscious? Because we are all comprised of the same thing. We're all comprised of atoms, and under the atom, at the subatomic level, vibrations and particles. Okay? Vibrations and particles. So, vibration in of itself is conscious. So every single emotion, thought that you send out to the universe is a conscious signal that you're sending out to the universe. So not only are you changing the water in your body, in your cells and your atoms, I don't know if I've uploaded yet the video about how your vibration literally change your biology or your neuroimmunology, but we'll see. Either way, because the vibration is conscious, the atom is conscious, everything is consciousness, because the atom is basically, vibration is consciousness, right? So if you look at even deeper, on the very subtle plane, this is just consciousness, right? Everything is just consciousness. So consciousness, vibration is consciousness, atom is consciousness, cells or molecules are consciousness. Therefore, it's just a stacking up of consciousness. So therefore, it's just a matter of every single thing in the universe is consciousness, more or less. They've done an experiment in the plants, for instance, where they hooked up the plants on I think it was electrocardiogram or something like that, where when two different people, you had like different plants and stuff like that. Two different people, one was supposed to torture the plant or like cut the leaves of the plant or, rip off some leaves. Every single time this person came afterwards, they saw that there was a spike in the electrocardiogram, as if the plants were like screaming, as if they were fearful. If I find the experiment, I'll pull it up on the post editing. And on the other side, whenever there was somebody who was loving, telling the plants, oh, I love you, taking care of them, giving them sun, giving them water, then the plants, literally, we can see that they were like operating on their frequency of love, right? And they even got jealous when there was like another partner in the room. Either way, I'll have to find the experiment. Same thing, animals, right? Animals get jealous, animals can get sad, etc. And we obviously, you know how we are, right? But the thing is this, every single thing in the universe is conscious. So every single thought, emotion, word, action is therefore sending a conscious signal to the entire collective consciousness that is all around us. Everything is just consciousness. Okay, cool. But we know that God is the ultimate consciousness. God is everywhere. So you're constantly interacting with God, whether you like it or not. So if you speak to yourself badly, you're actually speaking not just to yourself, you're speaking badly to God. Because God is everywhere and God is you, is inside of you, you are a particle of God. You're made of consciousness, you're made of the ultimate consciousness. So if you hate yourself or you speak to you badly, don't expect to have miracles happening in your life, because you're literally constantly hating on God or being disgusted by God. Your relationship with God will reflect that back to you. Okay? It's extremely important to understand that every atom is conscious. Now, we have understood that the more consciousness why is it so important to understand this? The more conscious we are, the more godlike we become. Because what do we say? Human or man is made in God's image. We didn't say animals are made in God's image. We didn't say plants are made in God's image. We didn't say rocks are made in God's image. We said humans are made in God's image. Why is that? Because humans, at least in what we experience right now, we're more and more conscious. So what does it tell you? By the law of reversibility, I'm getting excited about this subject, I love it. Number 5, sorry. Pas mal, mes dessins. Okay, someone is like making fun of me and my drawings. Wow, okay. Let me grab a little coffee. I know you guys are like, oh, suspense, suspense. Calm down. Max, haven't forgotten about you. Don't worry, I'm going to make it clean. So, number 5, consciousness and humanity. Follow along. Everything is going to make sense. My goal is not to tell you, oh, do this, do this, do this for you to have more income. My goal is for you to understand deeply the fucking fabric of reality so you know everything makes sense logically, and therefore, with that higher awareness, you are going to shortcut your way until unconscious competence. Okay? It looks like I'm into drugs, you know? It's just like winning frequency. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. Number 5. So, why do we say man was made in God's image? What does it mean? What does that mean? Dun, 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 dun. Well, what is man compared to the other realms? It's more conscious, right? It's more conscious than rocks, than plants, than animals. And God is what? God is infinite potential, infinite potential, infinite consciousness, consciousness. So what does it tell you? It means that man is made in God's image because he's more conscious than everything else that we know. So that means that the more conscious we become, what does it tell you? It means that the more we resemble God, the more we are like God, the more we are God-like. The more conscious we are, the more we elevate our vibration, the more we elevate our frequency, the more we elevate our consciousness, the more God-like we are. And this is why some people, they just have this aura about them. When they enter a room, you're like, man, this looks like a demigod. This looks like he's God-like. He has this God-like aura. This is why, because the more conscious you are, that means the more you resemble the old. So unconscious, the old consciousness. So you resemble God, and the more God you have into you. Okay, that's why the more you become God-like. So if you want to become more God-like, you need to be more conscious. And a synonym for consciousness is awareness. This is literally what I'm teaching you on this YouTube channel. I'm literally giving you the sauce for you to become more God-like. And the fact that you're now aware of this knowledge, naturally, you're becoming more God-like. So by you just listening, taking notes, and following through all my videos, you are becoming more God-like. Which is naturally then, because the universe is a mirror, remember, right? Beautiful mirror here. If you become more God-like, what's happening? Then your reality is going to be one of the God-like reality, right? Because if your identity becomes the one of a God, then you're going to have a God-like reality. Identity, right? Remember the quantum physics experiment? Identity equal reality. That's basically what they've proven. So if you become a God-like identity, then you're going to have a God-like reality. This is the last thing. And then I'll tell you exactly how God is going to give you more money. Or you're going to naturally attract more money. Now, I'm going to test her. So, what is one historical figure that people saw as God-like? Quel a été un personnage historique où les gens se sont dit, ah, il est comme Dieu? Jesus Christ. Exactly. So, Jesus in history, Jesus Christ, because there's many Jesus. I'm not talking about Jesus in Colombia here. I'm talking about Jesus Christ, of course, right? Jesus Christ. Jesus in Colombia, calm down, okay? I'm not speaking about you yet. So Jesus Christ, obviously, people considered him as God, right? What does that mean, as God? Well, resembles God. And I'll pull the map of consciousness up in the editing, but if you look at all the frequency chart and you see all the map of consciousness, well, Jesus, what was it? He was enlightened. He was enlightened, okay? He was enlightened, illuminé. He was enlightened. And if you look at the map of consciousness, well, it's the highest frequency. And when you look at the map of consciousness, high frequency, in the category God view, how you view God, what is it written? It's written self. So Jesus, because he had this highest level of frequency, highest level of consciousness, he saw himself as God. Because he was part of the all. He was part of all the consciousness around him. So therefore, he was more and more part, an integrated part. He was more and more aware, more and more conscious about the fact that he was an integrated part of the fucking universe. And therefore, he became more godlike, and therefore, he saw God as self. But what does that tell you? This is not a blasphemy or anything like that. It's just for me to help you really and truly unlock your true godly potential, okay? Everything happens for a reason. If you're on this planet today, if you're in this third dimensional realm, there is a reason. If you're watching this video, there is a reason. You do not attract anything in reality that you're not at least somewhat the correspondence vibration of. If you've attracted this video into your feed or you're seeing this video right now, it means that you're starting to either elevate your vibration or you're at the level of vibration of this video, or you just, you're even above that, but you're looking to cement your teachings, okay? Nothing happens by accident. So if you're watching this video today, it's for a reason. Again, Einstein said, God does not place dice with the universe, meaning luck does not exist, and coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous, meaning luck does not exist. Everything is carefully designed and architectured. So Jesus saw himself as self, and that's why he was able to what? He was able to perform miracles. Oops, miracles. The thing is this, if we follow the blueprint and we aim to become like Christ, and by the way, Christ is a spiritual title. I'll do another video on that because I don't want this one to be too long. But that's why it's not Jesus. This is not the important part. This is the important part, Christ. Because Christ is the spiritual title meaning the anointed one, meaning enlightened. And when you're enlightened, you see yourself as a pure integrated part, pure consciousness, integrated part of the all, of everything, of the consciousness around you. And therefore you are mixing yourself up with that. And that's why you see yourself, because God is everything, you see yourself part of everything, and therefore you see God as you. Now, he was able, with this perception and this view of life, he was able to perform miracles. So, if we follow the blueprint here that I've given you so far, over time, as we become more godlike, then that means what? That means that you can start to perform more miracles, right? And that's when people are going to call you lucky. They're going to be like, oh, it's only luck. You're so lucky and stuff like that. No, bro. It's just that you have had a higher level of understanding about how the universe works, and therefore you're able to more so perform miracles and attract luck and attract all of these good things in your life, okay? So just to tell you, aim to be like Christ, aim to be enlightened, aim to be mostly, more importantly, godlike. The more godlike you are in terms of identity, the more godlike your reality will be. Now that this is out of the way, you start to understand that it's all about who you are, your vibration, your frequency, your consciousness, how you perceive yourself to be, how you perceive the world. Jesus was also loving. He was also loving, and he saw life as blissful and as a beautiful existence, which is exactly what most people who have had NDEs report also. People who have died and came back, what did they report? They just they said I cannot really put some words into it. It's just it just is. It's like it seems so caveman-like when I'm speaking with human terms, but it just is so beautiful. It's like it's a blissful serenity, blissful experience. Why? Because people, when they die, they revert back to their purest form of soul, and therefore they become more what? More godlike and less. And less human-like. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with being human. You decided to incarnate in this third dimensional realm to live a human experience and have a third dimensional experience like a video game, right? You choose the video game. It's not because the video game is like a horror game that you are a bad person. No, you just want to experience the horror of the video game, right? It's the same thing here. You decided to incarnate with a specific sort of experiences. But as you die and as you calm down, don't do any weird self-harm stuff, okay? This is just for you to understand that you can treat life like the beautiful game it actually is. Start seeing life as this beautiful thing. So people who have had NDEs, near-death experiences, when they die and they come back to Earth, right? They come back to human life, they felt this blissful existence, blissful state that Jesus had. Jesus was very loving even for his enemies. Why? Because it's impossible for you to be angry or frustrated or resentful towards somebody when you feel so good about yourself, which is why people who are angry about you, people who are hating on you, whether it's, in the comment section, fuck you, or it's people who are jealous of you or anything like that, it's because it's not you the problem. It's them inside, the vibration of inside of them. That's why usually people who get angry towards you or aggressive towards you, even though they tell you it's you the problem, it's not you the problem. It's because they've accumulated low vibration and frustration into their heart, and one day it just explodes onto you. But people don't hate you. They are misaligned with the godlike frequency and the godlike identity. That's all, okay? Because it's impossible. When you're grateful, when you're abundant, and when you're loving, it's absolutely impossible to be angry about someone. When you feel so good about yourself, right? When you feel so good, quand tu te sens trop bien avec toi-même, when you feel so good about yourself, it's impossible to hate on somebody else because you're too focused on living life on your own. So something also, please note it down. And I know you don't necessarily need to be reminded of that because you're high frequency individuals if you're watching this video, but the only person that you need to be responsible of, is you, nobody else. Every single human or every single soul decided to incarnate into their human existence, human experience. You are not responsible for other people. You are responsible for the only avatar that you decided to incarnate in, yourself, okay? Stop having the syndrome du sauveur, for instance, right? The savior syndrome, where you're trying to save everybody. It's not your job. If they want to be saved and if they want to be helped, then they'll let you know, right? This is why, for instance, I don't work with people that I don't see potential with. I don't coach people that haven't even been able to help themselves a little, right? That's why it's so important. As a coach, by the way, if you're a coach or you have an education business or anything like that, you're not responsible if you already have had a product or program that has changed a lot of people's lives. You are not responsible then for the new clients coming in to have the same results, because you're basically, and I know it sounds toxic, but it's truth, because if your program is already good enough and it has changed people's lives that have actually helped themselves, Max, that have actually helped themselves already and have seen results with your program, then it means that it works. And it means it's simply the identity and the person that enters the program that matters, okay? Which is why I'm more and more, as I go through life, I'm more and more severe with the people that I work with, because I want to make sure that I'm stacking and accumulating success stories. And age, by the way, age and past experience has nothing to do with it. For instance, it was yesterday. Shout out to you, Kevin. I saw your comments also on the last video. Kevin, I started working with him a year ago. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you let me know in the comments, Kevin, if I'm wrong, but I think my memory doesn't fault me. Kevin, when he first started to see me, he spent all his money, all his savings into the mentorship that he had with me. He just lost his job. He's just lost his girlfriend. He was depressed, miserable. He had ADHD. His parents were against him. And now 1 year later, and he was 160 pounds, skinny twig, okay? Long and skinny twig. A year later, I had my last call with him yesterday. 205, muscle, lean body, happiest he's ever been, attracted his dream girl, okay? He aced pilot school, like as if it was nothing. And then he was like, nah, it's too easy for me, I don't care. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do luxurious real estate. And now he's in Florida, next to Miami, in Maple, super rich county, and he's doing luxury real estate there. His life completely changed. And maybe I'll, if I remember, I'll put what he said exactly in this video, in the Zoom call that we had. Either way, why am I speaking about this? Because even though he started from scratch, ground zero, he was literally like in a hole. He was able to help himself. Sorry. So it's all about the mindset. Some people, they have more than him, and they do they don't even put in the work, and they don't even change their lives. So it's all about who you are and how much effort mentally, spiritually, and physically you're putting in when you follow the right blueprints. Cool. Now that this is out of the way, we want to be more godlike, more Jesus-like. Before I do my last drawing, I know you guys are like super excited. Before I do my last drawing, do you have any comments or questions?
J'en ai beaucoup.
Oh, so should I finish? Je dois peut-être terminer avant. Okay. Can I get the water, please? No, calm down. She was gonna like throw it to me. No. Wow, calm down. T'as vu ça? I'm so smart. Unconsciously, you don't see what brand it is. Bro. Either way, so my students are a bit turbulent today. Last thing, now that this is out of the way, that you know how to become more godlike, or you understand the concept of becoming more godlike, and all the videos on my YouTube, by the way, are helping you, are designed specifically for you to become more godlike. Now, the last drawing that we're gonna do, so this is you, right? You're as sexy as me. But remember that, you have your vibration, you have your aura, right? Your mere vibration, mere energy. Cool. So, and let's symbolize the all, the field, the universe, God as a perfect circle, let's say. You know what? It's a bit too big because I need space to do my last drawings. So this is and let's say, for instance, it's nothing creepy, but just to symbolize the all-seeing eye, just to symbolize that, God sees everything and that he's omniscient and omnipotent, okay? This is basically the all, the field, universe, whatever you want to call it, right? God. This is this force, and this is you. Remember that you are a particle of God. You have a particle, you are a particle of God. So God is inside of you as well because it's everywhere. So basically God is here as well, okay? He's inside of you. So you cannot fool God. That's the thing. If you lie to yourself, you're lying to God. So don't expect miracles to happen and don't expect your income to get better if you're constantly lying to yourself, right? Which is why you should not lie to yourself or others. It's better to be honest because then God is seeing you. Cool. So now your first step is not to expect God to give you more money or unlock your God income. No. Remember, you need to be what? You need to be more godlike. You need to elevate your consciousness. You need to get at a higher level. And remember, you exist on 3 planes. Hope you remember and you've taken some notes. So you need to first prove yourself. Prove yourself, right? And I'm not speaking in the religious term like, bad guy. No, prove yourself. What does that mean to prove yourself? Well, you need to align yourself, or what we call play by the universe's rules. What does that mean? Well, remember, you, in the name of the Father, of the Son, of the Holy Spirit. So you need to align yourself. First it's mentally, spiritually, and physically. Okay? So, you need to align yourself on the 3 planes of existence because you are a manifestation of God, right? You're a manifestation of light, hue, man manifestation, hue, shade of light. You are a manifestation of a shade of light. And because there's only consciousness, vibration, and light in this universe, you are a manifestation of God. Cool. So you're particle of God, manifestation of God, so you need to be more godlike, and therefore you need, how do we become more godlike? Well, you need to align yourself mentally, spiritually, and physically. So, mentally, we know that the universe pays you for who you are, highest level of vibration, etc. But the market also pays you for the more valuable you are. So, mentally, work smart, you need to develop knowledge, you need to develop world-class unique value, okay? Because at the end of the day, the world is not going to pay you for just being a random guy that is already doing the things that everybody has done. So you need to have some unique part of you, and you need to be delivering world-class value. Plus, mentally, you need to hold your goal, your income goal, your financial goal, or your life goal in your mind's eye. Constantly, guys. Oops, sorry. Every single champion, every single CEO, world-class performers, every single time they said, I was first a champion, as rich, successful in my mind, and I held it consistently. I already saw it before it became real in real life. They held it in their mind's eye every single instant of every single day of every single year. And this is when they were constantly aligned on the mental plane. Spiritually, you need to therefore be godlike. What was, easy example, what was Jesus like? At the highest, right? I'm not speaking about when he first started his existence, at the highest. He was love, he was abundance, and he was authentic. Love, abundance, and authenticity are some of the highest vibrations, right? So in especially design, in your case for more income, you need to align yourself. You know what I'm going to do spiritually? Mentally is going to be green, just for you to follow along. Mentally is going to be green. Spiritually is going to be blue. Spiritually. And then physically will be red. That way you guys know. Physically. Cool. There you go. Perfect. So spiritually, it means that you need to be godlike and highest vibration. You know what? I'm sorry guys, but like I need more space. So now that you've taken notes, hope you're taking notes. If you haven't, too bad for you. Spiritually, that squats, yeah. You need to vibrate at the frequency of love plus abundance plus authenticity. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Authenticity. Really and truly, the easiest way to conceptualize this is feel as if the goal is already done. Already done, okay? So for instance, typically like you have like a financial goal or anything like that, feel as if you already have it, because that's going to help you feel more love, more abundance, and more authenticity. Now, why is it so important? Because if you want more money, it's impossible to make more money, except if you sell your soul, but this is not the subject of this video. It's impossible to make more money if you don't operate from love. Love for self and love for others, right? Because if you love yourself, then you have confidence. And is it really possible for you to make a shit ton of money being a business owner without putting yourself out there and without confidence and self-love? No. Cool. Now, you need to love others as well, because the mere fact of you wanting to help out, offering a service of value is basically a kind of love. A love for others. Love for others and helping them with their lives. Cool. Now you need to feel abundant, because you need to operate from a place of abundance. You will never increase your income if you're operating from a place of scarcity. If you're operating from a place of scarcity, you're going to try to stab people in the back. You're not going to do the right deals, and people are going to feel your vibe, your weird vibe. The fact that typically this video is a perfect example. I'm operating from a place of love because I love you guys. I love the support that I'm getting on these videos. I'm operating from a place of abundance because I'm giving you all the sauce for free, and I'm highly authentic. This is why I told the other guy to fuck off when he said like, stop speaking French, because I don't give a fuck. It's my authenticity. If you don't like it, then watch some other bullshit YouTuber. Cool. So love, abundance, and authenticity. Once you align those three, things start to happen in your life and you start to attract better opportunities. That's literally the easiest thing you can do to be more godlike spiritually. Now, physically, same thing. I need some more space. Physically, what's going to happen? You need to take what we call asymmetric upside business actions. Asymmetric upside business actions. And plus operating from the identity of the successful self. Identity of success self, okay? Self. So basically, speak and do the things that your successful self would do. Why? Because this is how you time collapse from you to be where you are right now to the reality, the desired reality with their income or the money that you desire to have. Remember that identity equals reality, right? So if you change your identity, you change your reality. So if you change your identity here and you start to operate from your successful self, naturally you're going to quantum jump into the corresponding reality. Cool. Now, what do we mean by asymmetric upside business actions? Okay? Stop seeing yourself as a mere employee or as a mere person. You are a business owner whether you like it or not. Okay? If you are employed in a job, don't see yourself as an employee. See yourself as a business owner providing a commodity, providing a service for your employer. That way, you change your perception of life, you change your perception of your value, and you stop thinking in terms of like 1 unit of time or 1 unit of effort equals 1 unit of dollar. That's the worst thing you can do if you want to make a lot of money. You need to start thinking in terms of as a business owner or an entrepreneur, and therefore you need to focus on asymmetric upside business action, which means basically for 1 unit of, let's say, effort. Oula. Are you following along or are you getting tired?
What?
Tu suis ou tu commences à fatiguer?
Non, je suis.
Ok.
J'ai du mal à tout comprendre parce que c'est en anglais, mais je suis.
Duolingo is your best friend. So 1 unit of effort needs to equal potentially exponential results. And the only way you can have this system in place is if you're a business owner, right? Or an entrepreneur. Your job will never get you there. It will always be a linear equation. You need to have an exponential hockey stick curve equation. 1 unit of effort equals potential asymmetric upside in terms of money, which is also why I teach for the new ones on this channel. I also teach you how to build a personal brand, monetize your knowledge, monetize your belief system, monetize your expertise, whether it's in a health, wealth, relationship. This is something that we find out in the diagnosis call that we have together. Either way, so this is what you need to focus on physically. Again, it's about alignment. Those people who think that they can only like mentally work or spiritually work without the physical, you haven't understood the game. You decided, remember this graph here with the soul and the human, godlike, human-like, you decided to incarnate in this universe because you wanted to live the human experience on this third dimensional realm. So this universe and this dimension exists for you to live into it and experience it. And that means what? That means physically. So do not neglect the physical. I was the first one to neglect the physical. I either like was purely physical, working hard, and I burnt out. I was either purely mental, but this is called intellectual masturbation, and therefore nothing happens, or I was purely spiritual, just, praying God, but the same thing, nothing happens. You need to align all those 3 planes of existence. You need to align all these 3 if you want to be more godlike and therefore increase your income, okay? Extremely important. So take asymmetric upside business action plus operate from the identity of the successful self. Most of you, your job is not going to do this. You need to have potential system that gives you 1 unit of effort, potential infinite money. Whether it's you get equity, you build an online business, you have a personal brand. Typically, for instance, this video is an example of asymmetric upside. I posted once unit of effort, potentially gets me unlimited views. I don't know how much, right? If it's help only 100 people or 100 views, I'm glad, but it's still an asymmetric upside, right? So, and it has the potential of building my brand, right? So this is an exact example of asymmetric upside business action. Cool. Now that this is out of the way and you're aligning yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, becoming more godlike, what then happens? Because the universe is a mirror and a magnifier, then you're now becoming more godlike. What is the all-field universe God reflecting back to you? And how is it reflecting back to you? And how is it unlocking your God income? Now, because God, the universe, is infinite, it's infinite potential, it's infinite, it's the source, right? So it's infinite, it's infinite source, okay? So, source. So does it make sense to operate from a place of scarcity if you're able to become more godlike and more connected to God, which is the infinite source? No, because that means that everything that you ever want is actually achievable because you're connected with the infinite source. So potentially unlimited money, right? So stop operating from a place of scarcity because metaphysically, logically, psychologically, you understand how this does not make any sense for you to be scared, okay? Operating from the low level of fear and scarcity. It's just a human programming. And the more you fall prey for the human and societal programming, the less money you'll make. You need to start thinking like the highest consciousness, thinking like God, thinking like a God, and be more godlike. Cool. Now, so now that you know that it doesn't make sense for you to be scared or operating from a place of scarcity, how will the all give you, once you start aligning yourself, how will it show up in your life? Well, number one thing is going to be what? À ton avis, comment, quand tu t'alignes godlike, il va commencer plus d'argent va apparaître? Sous quelle forme?
Des petits signes, par exemple, trouver un billet par terre.
Un
Virement inattendu.
Absolument.
Une...
Synchronicities.
Genre, par exemple, si on est en business en ligne, des clients en plus.
Luck events. There you go. Perfect. Exactly. So you're going to start to have synchronicities. So synchronicities. Oops. By the way, yeah. By the way, something very important. Your goal is alignment. Okay? The way you'll get more paid and you'll unlock your God income is by noticing the instruments that God uses. People, your boss, clients, synchronicities are mere instruments that the all is using to give you what you want. Okay? So, number one, the most magical is synchronicities. Synchronicities, okay? Or lucky events, that is typically like bank transfer that happens and comes into your life out of nowhere. So, or money on the floor, people giving you a donation, that's kind of like synchronicities, or random people or random events that happens and that make you more money, basically. That's one way of doing things. Then obviously, the more direct way and direct channel, if you're a business owner, is more clients, right? So literally, you're naturally going to have, out of nowhere, more clients that come into your life, okay? More clients out of nowhere. Either it's like one client that, you completely forgot about, a prospect that you completely forgot about, and then he comes back to your life, or it's a client that wants to buy again, or it's an old client that wants to buy the highest package, the highest tier, whatever it is. The goal is for you to align yourself, and this is what it starts to happen. Now, another way will be what?
En fait, il y a des questions que j'avais notées.
Yeah.
À chaque fois, tu réponds comme
Comme par hasard.
Genre 3 minutes après. Donc bon.
Maybe I'm doing a great job then, that means. Ah, tu n'as pas pensé à ça, hein? So, another way, sorry guys, like here, I'm just going to keep alignment, okay? I need more space. So, opportunities. So, the right person at the right time at the right place. That is another way for you to unlock your God income and how God uses instruments for you to make more money. And last but not least, one which is quite important, What is this?
Une ampoule.
A light bulb. Yeah, but what does it represent?
La lumière.
Another one. When you're like, oh,
Ah, des idées.
idea. There you go. Perfect. Ideas. Or intuition in the form of intuitions. Intuitions. Or downloads from the universe. Literally downloads from infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence. Fuck. Ideas in green. Ideas, there you go. So literally synchronicities, clients or people, opportunities, the right time, typically opportunities would be like, let's say for instance, you decide on a random Tuesday you want to invest in a stock and then a week later it explodes. Synchronicity is, for instance, you don't know why, but today you're feeling a bit off. You want to kind of like go to a certain coffee just to change the vibe and change the environment. Boom, there you go. You find money on the floor, and in the cafe you meet a random dude that you haven't seen for so long, and then boom, you start guys talking about the business, and boom, you guys have a partnership. I'm getting a bit tired. I'm gonna finish off this video quite quickly, but this is a synchronicity. Boom, clients appearing out of nowhere, or people getting you job opportunities out of nowhere, or a promotion out of nowhere. Boom, an idea that you need to act upon. This one is most importantly, you need to act upon those ideas and intuition immediately. I'm gonna give you an example. My first personal brand, my first Instagram page around a personal brand named J. Chris Mentor was one of my first. I had this as an idea when I was taking a hot bath in Canada. I was broke as fuck. I was a master student and a corporate. I was stuck in corporate, broke as fuck. Obviously for the random guy is like, I wasn't broke as fuck, but in my mind I was broke as fuck because I hadn't millions in the bank, so I was broke. But I was in my hot bath and boom, I had an intuition, I had an idea of creating a personal brand where I can share the knowledge on my personal development or share mindset knowledge. And this is where it started me building a bunch of different brands, and therefore today I am where I am today, right? So it's all started with an idea because I started to be calm, more godlike, more aligned. Therefore, you need to act upon those intuition and downloads from the universe, because if you don't, this idea is going to hop onto somebody else and they are going to basically reap the fruits of the labor associated with the idea, the intuition, or the downloads of the universe. So remember, God is using instruments, right? Because you want to live this third dimensional realm. But remember that luck does not exist. Every single thing, if you align yourself, remember that your goal is alignments, right? Your goal is alignments, being more godlike. You're going to start to see synchronicities, more clients, opportunities, and ideas. And then people are going to call you lucky or a miracle workers. This is literally how naturally, because of the universe is a mirror, because basically God the all reflects back to you what you give it and amplifies that to you. This is why it works. And this is why also people who give to charity become richer. People think, it's because they're rich that they give to charity. No, most of them became rich because they understood this law. They understood the law of cause and effect. They understood the law of resonance and the vibrational resonance, and they invested into charity. And because they invest, they give what they want to receive, because the universe is a mirror. What happens then? They get more money with the instruments that I've just described. Does that make sense? What are the questions or comments?
Alors, la première, c'est une question que beaucoup de moldus se posent, je pense. Est-ce qu'on peut manifester de gagner au loto?
So she asked if it's possible, by aligning yourself, to win at the lottery. Absolutely it is. There's a famous girl actually who aligned herself, because she unconsciously aligned herself spiritually, mentally, and physically, as if she already won the lottery, and she was able to most of the time win the lottery. I don't remember what's her name, but she was quite famous. So it's possible. The problem is, I wouldn't recommend relying on the lottery, because you're not going to feel proud of yourself. You're going to feel like excited for 1 or 2 days, and then you're going to lose everything, because your internal bank account does not match the reality. The thing is, again, your identity creates your reality. So if you win, Max, if you win the lottery, right? If you win the lottery, but the problem is you're not ready for the amount of money, you haven't built the identity that is ready for the amount of money, for the millions and stuff like that, you're gonna naturally lose it. And that's why most people lose the money. The lottery winners start to lose their money like a few weeks after. And they naturally spend it on some bullshit because they haven't had the correct discipline associated with the new identity. And remember, the universe is a efficient energy management system, meaning that if there is, for instance, the lottery, in the case of the lottery winner, I need to buy more pens. Lottery winner, what happens then? Well, their identity is here. Identity is here, okay? Their reality, or money basically, their reality is here. Is here. But the problem is you see that there is a gap here. There's a delta. There is a gap here, right? So what is the universe going to do? Most of the lottery winners, they don't elevate their identity. They don't do that. They don't become better. They don't work on themselves to elevate their identity to be able to match the reality that they have. So the easiest way for the universe to basically rebalance identity equals reality, what they've proven in quantum physics, is, well, unfortunately, they make the reality go back to the corresponding identity, which is why they lose all the money. Most of the people lose all the money that they've made. If they had the correct identity, what would they do? They would hire lawyers, investors, specialized people, and have the discipline of the corresponding identity of a millionaire. But because they have a gap between the identity and reality, the universe naturally, because it's an equation that works, naturally rebalances it for the people. Ça fait du sens? T'as compris un peu ou pas? Perfect.
Préjudice ou pas,
Ah.
alors que c'est conscient.
Okay, so basically she's asking, like, sometimes it happens that you have 1 or 2 days where you're bad vibration, and therefore you're sending negative conscious signals to the universe and God. And therefore, is it really that bad or is it okay? It's important to, I'm going to summarize this very, very easily. T'as compris. You've understood, right? Basically, positive vibration is superior to negative vibration. So if you have a negative day, it happens to all of us. Law of rhythm, law of polarity, seasons, ebbs and flows, winter, summer, etc. It happens to all of us, even the best of us. It's impossible to stay high vibration all the time. What you want to do is just have more positives than negatives. And overall, a higher level of vibration, I'll pull up the map of consciousness again. If you look at the energy log, the higher vibration you are, it is 10 times more powerful than the negative one. Negative vibration is like 10, 20, 40. Love is like 600, 700, etc., etc., etc. So the positive overcomes the negative. So it's okay if you have a bad day. It's not going to be so detrimental than you think it does. And that's why, as you watch this video and as you elevate in consciousness and frequency, you're actually having an impact directly around you in your entourage and on Earth. So by you watching my videos, and this is not for me to be, oh, you should watch my video. It's actually true. The moment you watch my video, the more godlike you become, and the higher vibration and frequency you become, and therefore you're naturally elevating, remember the droplet in the sea, you're naturally elevating the consciousness of the planet because you're becoming more conscious, more positive, more aware, okay, of planets. So it's important for you to understand this, that the better you become, the better the planet becomes. Because if we have more of you and me and her, we wouldn't have wars. We wouldn't have all the bullshit happening right now, right? So don't worry if you have bad days, just accept it, Don't fight it, because what you fear and what you fight comes back to you, okay? Just accept it, let it flow, and focus on getting another better day another time.
Drinking and drinking and drinking to the point where I hit rock bottom, and my childhood wasn't the best, and tried to numb out the pain, and it finally got to the point where I felt alone, got kicked out of my house like my own. It's just me. It hurts my heart because I feel like I'm hurting God. You're just gonna take the L.
Yo, yo, yo!
Jay, bro, I'm in Florida. I'm living on a golf course, man. My whole life has changed, brother. I feel great. Dude, it's been probably over a year now since we had our first call. So I have my license, I can fly a plane, and now I'm moving on to real estate. I got a dream girl. I got the body I want, bro. I'm getting my six-pack soon. I'm living in Florida, in Naples, Florida, man, one of the richest cities in the United States of America. Bro, life is amazing.
Amazing, man. What do you think was the biggest shift or the biggest turning point that allowed you to go from where you were when we spoke? And I remember clearly your word, you were like, I'm feeling really down, I'm happy to be on this call, but sometimes it's really hard with the ADHD, with everything, to being where you are right now, a total baller, man.
Dude, honestly, first I gotta give all credit to God, and then second, God brought me you to guide me, bro, and I needed that more than anything. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to start with anything, and as soon as you told me what happened, I told myself I'm gonna stay consistent. I'm gonna keep going no matter how hard it goes, and this is where I'm at now, man. I think that was the big shifting point, is guidance and God. And selling waterfront luxury homes, we're talking about, all right, so for Naples, an average home is $850,000. The waterfront Port Royal homes, we're talking between 15 to up to 100 million. I got so much energy, man. It's the best part is I get to help people, bro. I get to help people make a huge decision. Like, even when you come to Florida, you know how much that's gonna mean to me, man? The person that got me to where I am, and then it feels like I'm somewhat repaying you back. Dude, life's good.
What do you think really helped you the most?
Oh, definitely the mindset, man. The mindset shifted my whole, from, I can barely make any money, to I can make this amount of money, and if I just stay consistent and always winning, and winning the morning is what helped me the most. Win the morning, you win the day, you win the week, you win the month, you win the year. That shifted me from every day being great.
So, amazing, man. I'm so proud of you, G.
Yeah, I don't want any other coach, man. You're the coach for me. You've already proven to me that investing is the best thing I can do for myself.
So the things that you told me, it's really hard and stuff like that, I'm really down, I'm depressed, and then boom, now you're like fucking pilot, real estate license, dream girl, dream body, Maple,
everything, bro.
It's crazy.
I went from living into an apartment in Virginia and ADHD, not eating the best. I was actually very, very skinny. I was probably I was 168 pounds was my lowest, no muscle at all. Now I'm 205, but all muscle, and I'm leaned out, man. I got the transition from here to a year, or then to a year, is insane. Beautiful. It's just crazy what you can do when you just stay consistent.
Action. Hop là. Donc, non, je me suis dit, la prochaine que je vais faire sur... quel sens, ouais. Si je refais une... Oh là là, waouh. Oh my god, he got abs. Bon, donc en gros, ce que je me suis dit, c'est que la prochaine que je vais faire, si j'en fais une sur l'explication de la vibration et ce genre de choses, je me suis dit, pour flex un peu, je vais prendre la clé de la Lamborghini, je vais faire, vous voyez ça, avant c'était une pensée. Tu sais, le mec trop insupportable. Putain.
Avec la moto et tout.
Tu sais, le mec il amène la moto dans le truc, alors vous voyez ça, avant c'était une pensée. Bon, du coup, est-ce qu'on est à peu près droit, et au pire on s'en fout, parce que c'est la valeur qui compte. Donc aujourd'hui...
Si les gens ils sont comme ça, sur leur but, c'est ok.
Les mecs ils ont... Oh, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Les mecs, genre... Bref. Eh vas-y, ça me saoule. On est déjà à 4 minutes 33 en fait. Waouh.